lokaran zeng zang ning yang de jeso le kwa min du do ra le me chu pi wa song zang me chu ji ba lo de ni zang ning ton shuo jo du song xin na sang song qian de chu song la gan de ji po yo da po wa la de ne xiong wa ga de xiong yo da 아니 제바도 너가랑 전주 배미 시소지 남이 지금 봐서 전주 배미 시소도 전이야 아니 흉아 간대 흉고 요야 돼 아니 맞아 딱이 요야 송장
나도 봐이 I am a Tibetan
되게 뼈와다 기지배들이 가기 기질 해석이 속속 혹시 브리셔드 게라 드링 치료 너가랑 제라를 메세 따데 다워직 소월 제제다야 되기네들라 기지 퉁나 국답체 아메리게 뉴욕 통계도 마메 총고기 르기 구지 나요 바테링 쇼 나서 아 베미다 베데 겹겨 남기 뉴욕 타임스 스퀘어 시에 사도도 총고다 나데야 지가나기 미릭 20 여기 기비베 친 사바데라 모게야 요버제 총
Look at all of you. All of my brothers and sisters out here. Tashidale, tashidale, tashidale. You know, this is a kind of a strange place to be talking about these things, isn't it? But why not? Right in the middle of a kind of the beating heart of New York, of America, within the kind of entertainment of the world, to be talking about something really important. And not just for Tibetans, for everyone. I'm really, really honored to be here with you tonight. And what this means, I mean, it's honoring this extraordinary man. What he has accomplished here in bringing us together is something truly extraordinary. We're here to honor this man, who I don't remember ever meeting. And probably many of us here didn't meet him, have the privilege, the honor of meeting him, yet whose message now asks something of every one of us, to stand together, this sense of unity, that in unity we can accomplish anything, we know that. Every one of us can stand together for Tibet and be a voice, most importantly, for those inside Tibet. We are there serving them, and I don't think we can ever forget that. This extraordinary man, Labdha Ramzen, who I don't think anyone's going to forget this name, and for good reason. He's inspired us all. How moved I was and how much he kind of kicked me in the butt and said, okay, we've been doing kind of extraordinary things. We're doing things in Washington. We're doing things around the world. We talk to our families. We talk to each other. But it's been a lot of talk. This was an extraordinary sacrifice of action that he demonstrated to us. And frankly, I felt woken up by this. Deeply saddened, to be sure, but woken up. And I think we all need to wake up right now. We can wake up. We can change this world. Now, what he spoke about, he believed Tibet's future depends on Tibetans and friends of Tibet and all people of conscience standing together with courage and conviction. He obviously loved Tibet so deeply, he refused to let its suffering remain invisible. He wanted the world to understand that Tibet is not simply occupied. This is a civilization at risk. What is at stake is an entire way of understanding the world and each other. The Tibetan language has its own script and a literary tradition stretching back more than 1,000 years. It contains words for states of mind, levels of consciousness, nature of mind that English cannot even begin to translate at this point. Thangka paintings, wood carvings, monasteries built to mirror the Buddhist understanding of the universe, the workings of the human mind, and humanity's place within that bringing together of compassion and wisdom. And this is something I go through all the time. I remember I talked to someone years and years ago about Tibet, and I said, we have to do something. We have to do something. We started Tibet House. We have to do something. They said, well, maybe you could do something at the Museum of Natural History. And I said, well, that's very nice, but this isn't a dead culture. This is an alive experiment in the possibilities of the human mind and the human heart. These are not relics of the past. They're living traditions that survive only if someone is free to pass them on. And that's why China's very oddly named ethnic unity law, which in fact does just the opposite, presents such an existential risk. It threatens the very conditions that allow Tibetan language, culture, and identity to survive. When a civilization loses the freedom to teach its own children, humanity loses something it can never ever replace. And that is the price of forced assimilation. With every civilization that disappears, we lose a different way of solving problems, of making meaning, of creating beauty, of new ways that we can live together, create a world community which is based on a mutual survival and joy and happiness and love. And it's not only about the rights of Tibetans, obviously, but Uyghurs. We have wonderful Uyghurs here. We have Mongolians, we have Hong Kongers. We're all in this together. And this is about whether we believe every civilization, that means every civilization deserves the right to exist, to endure, and to thrive. His Holiness often says, and very famously so, that his religion is kindness. And we all feel that immediately. That he's not talking about temples or doctrine, but really that warm human heart of kindness. And when you look at the people who learned from him that deep essence of kindness, not the superficial sense, but that deep sense that we're all in this together and we all deserve love and compassion and kindness and joy. When you look at everyone who has learned from him and carried that lesson across the Himalayas into refugee communities, across continents, all the way here to this bizarre place in Times Square right now, you realize that those words were never meant to be just admired. They were meant to be lived deeply inside of us. Because real kindness is not passive. It's not soft. No, real kindness is standing beside those punished for speaking their language, or speaking their faith, or speaking their truth. Real kindness means refusing to accept that nearly 1 million Tibetan children should be separated from their families and sent to Communist Party boarding schools, where they're made to abandon their language, culture, and history. Real kindness is a refusal to look away when Chinese injustice to dismantle Tibetans' centuries-old culture and push an entire civilization towards extinction. Our other brother, Martin Luther King Jr., he said that the arc of the moral universe bends always towards justice. And I think that's true. I think we can all believe that. But that bending towards justice only happens because people bend it. It doesn't happen on its own. For more than 70 years, Tibetans have kept bending that arc in exile, in monasteries rebuilt from nothing, in classrooms, at TCVs, in communities around the world, in the halls of the United States Capitol, outside the UN, and tonight here in Times Square. But a culture can't survive on admiration alone. Those cute Tibetans, it doesn't quite work that way. No. It takes all of us working beside Tibetans to defend their rights, which is we've been doing with the International Campaign for Tibet for 35 years now. Tibet can't be forgotten. We must preserve a culture, and it's a responsibility of all of us to do that. So tonight I'm going to ask you to do something. And Tenshala, come up here a second. So here's the president of ICT. And this is one of our programs, but I want you to actually make this appeal. We want you to record a video, okay? Because we're in Congress quite a bit, talking to congressmen and senators, and they're very open to this, believe me. We very rarely have we been in an office that we feel like we're not welcome or they don't understand the Tibetan situation. But they also want to hear from their constituents. So
we're asking you to record a short video asking your members of Congress to co-sponsor the Assuring the Future of Tibet Act and call for the repeal of China's so-called ethnic unity law. So you record a video asking your member of Congress to co-sponsor Assuring the Future of Tibet Act and call for a repeal of China's so-called ethnic unity law.
Okay, look, if you don't know who your congressperson is, contact us and we'll tell you. We'll make it really easy for all of you to do that, but it's really important. They always tell us, well, if we hear from our constituents, of course we'll act. Well, this is your moment. This is your moment to act. So if we can help you with that process, please get a hold of us and we will. When His Holiness accepted the Nobel Peace Prize in 1989, and I had the extraordinary good karma to be there with His Holiness when that happened and feel the seismic change of how people felt about Tibet through His Holiness, obviously. But this was the moment where things, I think, changed quite a bit. In Oslo, 1989, he didn't dedicate that award just to Tibetans. Now, he dedicated it to every person struggling for freedom, for dignity, and for peace. Tonight we're here to honor an extraordinary Tibetan, Latke Ranzem, in that same spirit of generosity, but speaking truth to power. And not being passive, acting. Now, as controversial as it might be within Buddhist theology, a self-immolation, one cannot question the sincerity and the complete commitment of this extraordinary man to his beliefs. We need to do the same thing, all of us, in our own way. We don't have to self-immolate, but we can call our congressmen, we can talk to our neighbors, we can speak out with generosity, with purpose, but we need to act. Now we're going to honor him tonight, as we will have. I've been seeing so many speeches about him, and I'm so moved by the people who knew him and respected him. And I was really taken by something that was said over and over again that I want to say tonight. That we honor him by carrying forward the message he asked the world never to forget. Napo Ya Yin. 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 I am a Tibetan. I am a Tibetan. I am a Tibetan. Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to share, but I want to show you one other thing, and I didn't know if I was going to say this, but I do feel like saying it now. I had a bit of a daydream a few days ago, and it was about His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And His Holiness was solid, and he glowed, but he was expanding into Dharmakaya. The body wasn't so important anymore. And I had this very clear vision that we were becoming his body. We were becoming his hands. We were becoming his feet. We were becoming his tongue, his mind, his heart. And that is our responsibility. What we've taken from him now, we have to act on in the world with his strength and his power and his skills and his capacities. I am a Tibetan. I'm a follower of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. I'm a follower of Shakyamuni Buddha, and I will act. I will act. I will make His Holiness proud of me by acting. Thank you very much.
너 공수장 그 저거 뽑아셔야 그러면 뭐 그 라와 용서 저보다 가와치는 매버에 배란세 쇼비 진생 때는 매버차 진생 때는 좀 만족 감각 냠마 다른 거고 배 중이나래 시투 지초이나래 배 미마이나래 감각의 동자 지들 때는 다리는 존데 만족 배 제거도 미리 뒤기 체들에 만족 감각 살래 뭐 동자 지들 지야 배 무슨 바케이션 보래도 진생 때는 다 다른 존데 가르쳐서 배 초가서 제조 놀이 얘기 배받아서 초가도 주로 제 맞아부터 나 배바이래죠 나 배바이
너가 란제 란리메 주피네 시차 시차 이메지리아 편토야 간서 전부터 전 가르치야 요리에서 장닝도 좋았들이야 아니 낸데 교동 라미나 좀 뭐지 요였더니 이나 두바 산제 장된데게 엔테 시차조 간사들이야 아니 간서 편토 가르치야 요리에서 디노 두바 산제 장된데게 되는 화면 어제 그래서 화면 지야 이나 팽그리라 투바 산제 장된데게 손바데 디기 진주듯이 아니지 다가 이제제네 아니 한 다바도 나오여라 단단이나 뭐도 나오리서 근데 손자 이게 남바 전뒤도 자네 아니지 로가란zen 最比 생제 셀렌데 在哪里啊 아니 화면에 나로나세 남바 쪽은 뒤도 자네 공도 니에他们的学呢 아니 균도가 지제여 근데 손자 남바 쪽에 뒤툴에 자네 화면 나로나 的学예 잠만에 군조선 다시 군소 시간 좀 하셔서 다랑이